The only thing you're gonna have to make on Thanksgiving is the turkey. Here are my make ahead sides and tips that will make for a stress-free turkey day. Let's start with turkey and gravy's best friend, mashed potatoes. A great tip if you're making a large batch and you want to freeze it ahead of time, freeze it in smaller portions in a Ziploc bag. You can flatten them out and it doesn't take up much freezer space. Plus, these thaw out a lot quicker in smaller portions. If you have them in portions like this, a great option is to put them in your slow cooker on low and stir them occasionally. But the way I've done it most often is to go ahead and make them fully and put them in the serving dish in which you want to use. Cover them with plastic and freeze or refrigerate. I just bring them out the morning of and let them sit on the counter and kind of come to room temperature. They're super simple to reheat in the microwave. I put them in covered with their plastic wrap for about 3 minutes. Then I uncover it, give it a good stir, and put it back in for another few minutes. All right, good, hot and steamy. And this is so easy, you can do this part just before serving dinner. I would love to hear from you. What are some tips that you use to keep your holidays stress-free in the kitchen? Mashed potatoes' best friend is, of course, gravy. Did you know you can make your gravy ahead of time? Yes, you can, and yes, you should. The grocery store sells the smaller parts of the turkey that you can go ahead and get started making a stock or making your gravy. All you do is roast them up, and then you've got all those delicious drippings at the bottom of the pan. And to make that perfect gravy from these drippings, check out my Turkey 101 video. The good thing about making a casserole ahead of time is it really gets better as it sits. The main thing to remember is your freezer space. Do you have enough? Just cover with plastic wrap and freeze it up to a few weeks in advance. Not everyone has room in their fridge to thaw out their casseroles the night before, so I like to just let it sit on the counter while I enjoy my coffee and get ready for the day. When it comes time to reheat after it's thawed, cover it with foil and then just pop it in the oven about 350, keeping in mind that it's going to take longer because it's starting cold and not warm. Casseroles like sweet potato casserole or green bean casserole are great made in advance. Just leave the toppings off. If they're stored in the fridge or the freezer, they're just gonna get too soggy. So just prepare your toppings the day of and top them just before they go in the oven. Not only does doing it this way save you so much stress on Thanksgiving Day, but it also saves you from doing a whole lot of dishes. Next up are the other veggie sides. These type sides don't generally require as many mixing bowls or cook time. They can be made the day of fairly easily before service. But a great tip is to go ahead and do some of the prep work before. I like to go ahead and wash and cut my veggies and store them again in the plastic bags. When it comes time to cook, all you have to do is dump them out on a pan and throw them in the oven. And if you don't have a lot of oven space, another great tip is to be sure and include sides that don't require the oven. That was easy and healthy. Another trick that will really save you time down the road is to go ahead and blanch your vegetables. Blanching is just a simple process of cooking the vegetables for a quick time in boiling water and then shocking them in cold ice water to stop the cooking process. What blanching does is it sets a beautiful color and it par cooks them, so it shortens the cooking time down the road. Once these are done, just drain them, dry them off, and store them in your plastic bag. At this point, they're pretty much cooked the way you want them, so side dishes like this come together in a matter of minutes. Cranberry sauce is a no-brainer. This is definitely one that can be made a couple weeks in advance. It holds up great in the fridge or the freezer. There's enough acid in here to keep any bacteria from growing for a while. Which brings me to my next tip. Take a little help from the grocery store. Store-bought items after you've put in so much hard work on the turkey and dressing is okay. Once you've prepared your cranberry sauce, let it cool and then just store it in the fridge or the freezer. If you freeze your cranberry sauce, just let it thaw out on the counter the day of and stir before serving. And finally, it's time for dessert. Most pies can be made well in advance and stored in the freezer or in the fridge. And because they freeze so well, if you're planning on buying store-bought pies, buy them when they're on sale and keep them in the freezer till Thanksgiving. A couple more ideas include delegation. Don't feel like you have to do the whole meal. Delegate out to some of your guests, even if they just want to pick something up at the store. And remember, plan for that oven space. A lot of cooking on Thanksgiving requires the oven, so try to diversify your appliances. Use the crock pot, the microwave, and the stovetop. With enough prep done ahead of time, you can pull off a spread like this in just a day. For more videos like this and tips on how to have a stress-free holiday season, don't forget to follow Allrecipes on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like, and don't forget to click that bell so you're notified every time we post a helpful video like this. Happy Thanksgiving. I like to really just set it on the counter while you're preparing your other stuff or just enjoying your morning cocktails. You're not having morning cocktails. I am, but you're not.
She is.